Everyone, and welcome again to another episode of Be Fearless. This is G.S.T's weekly live podcast, and we talk about trying to be your very best self and work through the fear and all the ways that we can find to do that and not let it hold us back. I'm Lisa Marie. I'm your host for today. I'm a primary school teacher, and I'm also an illustrator and an artist. And this morning, this afternoon, or this evening, wherever you are, I'd like to welcome you here because today we have a fabulous guest to speak to us. We have Linda Edwards, and Linda Edwards comes to us today all the way from the United States of America. I'm over here in the UK, and wherever you are in the world, I hope you enjoy what we've got in store. So Linda Edwards is retired military. She has a BA in business administration. She's a business and entrepreneur investor. She's also the co-founder of EMP Properties Investments, which is a project management company. And she's a founder and CVO of VIE Enterprises, business coaching and PR firm. She's also an author of a lovely book called The People Connector. So I'm going to let the lovely Linda introduce herself as to what she does to help people. Hi,
Yes.
Linda.
Hi, what's going on, everybody? Grand rising, great afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you are in the world. First, I would like to say thank you for having me on this platform. I couldn't be more excited just to come on here and be able to share, a bit of information with the listening ears or the watching eyes. Real quick, you said enough about me. Yes, I wear many, 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 many hats. As you stated, I am in the United States. I'm currently in New Jersey. With all those things that you mentioned that I'm doing, my main focus right now is federal government contracting as the middleman. So basically, I project manage at least 9 companies across the US to provide some type of product or service for the federal government. I'm also the business manager, as well as I step in and help coach students who are a part of the community that Jason White has blessed us with in teaching federal government contracting. Like I said, I help assist coaching with that, the students with their mindset and any other questions that they may have about the process of federal government. So again, thank you for having me here.
Well, it's our pleasure. We're so glad you could join us. So I'll dive into my first question, if that's okay with you, Linda. The first question I have today is, can you tell us about a time when you have experienced fear, which prevented you from doing something that you knew you should do or doing something that you wanted to do?
Oh man, that is a great question. And I just recently had that conversation. Um, I'm the type of person when it comes to fear, I actually run towards fear. I don't necessarily hesitate to it. Well, I guess you can say I hesitate in my mind, but physically, I actually run into fear. Um, Marketing somehow has been coming to me all my life. And I'm just like, that's one of the things that I've been running from. And so it's actually another task, as you mentioned earlier, Via Enterprises, a business coaching slash PR firm. I've been tasked to do a little bit of marketing and things like that. And I'm just like, it keeps coming to me. So I have to run to it. I am pushing back away from it, but I'm just running towards it. So
Wow, that's amazing. So can you think of some actions that you've taken to help you to overcome the fear that you say you're running towards it, but you've got that little something? Could you share some successful strategies you've used that have helped you?
Some successful strategies. It's really for me just diving into it. I know it may sound, odd to many, but that's just the way that I operate. So it's actually just doing it. I have reached out to a media company, and so I'm kind of studying up under them. So I'm just actually doing what it is that I'm running from. So that's pretty much the strategy. Just go forward, fail forward. That's my motto. Fail forward, actually do it along the way, and then learn the lesson.
Excellent. And it's obviously working out really well for you. Congratulations.
Thank
It's
you.
always hard when we have that pull back, that we really have to fight against it, because we know there's things we have to do. We know there's things we want to do, and that there's people relying on us 100%. So I'm going to also ask you if, apart from that, you have any other current fears right now that you're working on overcoming, and what steps are you currently taking to work on those? So maybe they might not be to do with work per se, or they could be anything.
Actually, if I truly, be transparent with you guys and I think about it, it's actually just growing overall in my business. I mean, that could be scary because we're so used to being safe, and staying at a point to what's comfortable for us, or trying to dictate what that next level looks like instead of just failing forward and moving into that and letting the universe guide you. So that's one of the things. If I truly had to sit back and think about something, it's like elevation, growth, in its entirety, personal, physically, mentally, as well as the business. It's that next level that, financially would bring in, the 7, the 8, the 9 figures, because you, at that point, you actually have to be another person. You cannot be the same person that, that you are currently are. So it's like, because we want to control everything. So it's like, well, what does that look like? So like I said, it's what does that look like, and who's surrounding you at this point? What do your friends look like? What do your network look like? Because those things have to change as well if you want to reach that next level. So that's one of the things I would say that I'm really combing through, that swirling around as I'm taking these steps.
Yeah, that's a really good answer. And I mean, you're absolutely right. It's like the fear of the unknown, really, isn't it? When you're trying to grow your business, because you've not been there before and you don't really know what the outcome is going to look like. You know what you'd like to see, but along the way, you don't know what's coming. And it's very interesting. You mentioned there about the people. I think the people is a big factor. You're going to meet different people and you are going to change and grow. We're still essentially the same people. We're authentic. We are who we are, but there is going to be changes for sure. Yeah. And that is necessary as you go through your business, because you're always learning. And I think that is a really, really good point, that all of us probably hold a little bit of fear when it comes to growing and becoming the best we can be. So right. I liked your strategy as well about, in a way, using people, the fact that you're going to have new people in. Do you sort of use that to your advantage to help you when it's coming to the fear or something like that?
Yes, because I'm somewhat of a competitive person. I also, in that, I enjoy helping people. And so one of the biggest things is, if someone, I take when people challenge or give me tasks to do, that's like a huge motivation for me, because it's like, okay, now I'm being held accountable. You see what I'm saying? Because I don't want to let myself down, nor do I want to let the person down. So in that sense, I'm not afraid to fail, because I know I'm giving it 150, 200, of myself, right? So I tend to use the people in my life who, I study up under as that bit of motivation to say, yo, I got to get this done. This is a push for me, now somebody's holding me accountable. I do it in my physical world, even when I'm outside walking or, jogging or things like that, and I'm on the track and I see somebody that's further for me. Okay, I got to go catch them, because that's the push. That's going to be the push for me. You see what I'm saying? So even if I don't have that cheerleader, I personally know how to push myself by using the tools or the people that are in my life to get to that next point.
Awesome. That's amazing. Well, I mean, you mentioned twofold there where you use people, because you've got the inspiring people that you look up to, and they're pushing you to go through that fear with their advice and their strategies, for sure, learning from them. I certainly do the same. But then there's also the people that you're working with, because they need you, and that is a big driving force to push you through. It's like me coming on this podcast. I'm doing it for GST. I need to show up, I need to be here. I may
Yep.
be nervous public speaking in this capacity, but I also want to get the message out to people to
Yep.
grab hold of that fear and just go for it. So yeah,
Yep.
I mean, whatever situation we're in life, we can use these things, can't we, to push us through the fear. And I like
Yeah.
the way you use two different types of people, and you also use the idea of yourself like being that huge push as well, in terms of accountability, because in your mind you want to do a good job, so
Yes.
you're being a driving force as well through wanting to
Yes.
do that good job. That's just brilliant. So if you could be even more fearless than you are currently, and you could push through every barrier that you face with a lot more confidence and bravery, what would that transformation in your life look like, do you think?
Oh man, that's a great question. So it will look like pretty much everything that I've mentioned up until this point that is a, I don't want to say hindrance, but that's been a slow moving pace for me. All of those walls will be broken down. A lot of the things I that are troubling in a sense, like that I'm in constant thought about, will be eliminated. I know I'll be much further in life, and I will be able to do the more that I want to do. And that brings me to a point. I was having a conversation with an associate on yesterday, and just kind of sharing some things that I was going through. And she said to me, "There's obviously something stopping you." And I was like, "Wow, thank you for that. There's obviously something stopping you." And it was like a light bulb hit me. The thing that's stopping me shouldn't be stopping me.
True.
But, whatever I deem that's important, I kind of responded and told her something that I deemed that was important. And then in the midst of the conversation, I said, even though, excuse me, even though I deem this as being important, sitting and just letting it be, it's not getting me where I need to be at. So I have to push through that fear, push through that thought process of trying to figure out what it is, and just go ahead and do it and let the outcome be the outcome. And so bring that back full circle, I know that I'll be far more further than where I am right now in my business, in my personal life, even physically, I'll be able to do those things that I said I want to do in the community, make those more larger impacts or contributions in the community like I want to do.
Oh gosh, and I'm behind you all the way, girl, and I hope you can make that happen and become more fearless. That's such a great answer. And a couple of things I took from what you said as well was like the importance of people. We've already talked about the importance of people around us, but you mentioned this person that you had the interaction with, and it made me think about how often we sometimes don't see things that are staring us in the face, and that sometimes we don't put enough thought into things which are so simple that could almost shift or move the gears because we haven't noticed them. And
Yep.
this is where other people in our life, whether it's friends, colleagues, or a coach, mentor, or some sort of counsel in your life, can be so game changing when it comes
Yes.
to pushing through those barriers.
Yes.
because you suddenly was like, oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And it got
Like a
you
light
really
bulb just
thinking.
clicked on for me. I was like, you're right. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So now it's like, take action, take action,
100%.
sink or swim. And I'm a swimmer.
That's great to hear. That's amazing. So, I also wanted to ask you that, right, we've got an audience here that's listening and they're interested in becoming more fearless. So, what would you say to someone who currently has something and they're really allowing that fear to prevent them from moving forward in that and perhaps following their dreams? What would you say to them?
I've said this often. We only get one life. We only get one life. It's not a dress rehearsal. There's a saying, and I'm pretty sure we've all heard it, that there are so many millionaires in the graveyard. People that just allowed an emotion to stop them. I would encourage you all to, you know, get around people that have what you want. Take your time, study, not too much time because you need to take action. You know, Taking action along the way will, increase that productivity for you. You'll be able to make those necessary corrections, learn lessons, and just have the overall outcome that you're looking for. But the biggest thing is it's not a dress rehearsal. Unfortunately, the world is going through, this pandemic. We've unfortunately lost a lot of loved ones behind, this disease. We don't have a lot of time. Look at the actions of the world. There's so much negativity going on. You got to find your positive space and just run to whatever that fear is. Knock that emotion down. Pick up a book. Pick up a book that's going to give you some type of motivation. I have so many running through my head right now. I wish I could just, share one of them, but it's, find that book that's going to give you that driving force where you feel like you can run through a wall. Find that song, whether it be country, rap, jazz, R&B, that where you feel like you can run through a wall. Find that support system. Be your own support system. Be your own support system. Be driven. As my mentor, business partner, Jason says, don't be motivated because that goes up and down. Be driven and drive forward into your goal and your dreams and make them happen.
I like that. Be driven. Lovely. Also, grab a podcast if you need some advice and some help as well, some inspiration. There are so many great podcasts out there. If you get
Yes.
on Audible or one of the platforms, and there's just so much to learn all over. And the reason I mention podcasts is because you can, I know we're not supposed to multitask, but like you say, when you're running or whatever, you can listen. So I
Yes.
certainly find audiobooks are really helpful for me because
For
when
me
I'm
as
doing other
well.
things, yeah, because I'm being an artist, and when I'm doing my illustrations, I can also still be absorbing a lot of information and
Yes.
stuff through my ears, while I'm using my hands. And I absolutely, love what you said about you only get one life. Gosh,
Yeah.
that's each day is precious, isn't it?
It
Each day
is.
is
It
precious. And
is.
one other key thing that you mentioned was about the emotion, because effectively you're just stopping an emotion or a feeling, something that's, it's arbitrary. You've created
Yeah.
that feeling in your head.
Yep.
So
Yep.
obviously fear is created in our bodies to help protect us, essentially,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes the fear isn't there. It's perceived or imagined,
Yep.
or it's been made bigger or worse in our heads. So
Yep.
yeah, I mean, don't let that
Self-sabotaging is
stop
what they
you.
call it.
Exactly. That's exactly it, isn't it? Because if you can only make that fear smaller, in your mind, that feeling, then your behaviors and everything that you need to do to act towards it and be driven, drive towards it,
Yeah.
is what's
Drive
going to be the
towards it.
result. That's amazing. Is there anything else you want to give us, pearls of wisdom, to add to that before we close? Because you've given us so much. I'm sure you've been holding something back for us.
No, I think I've given you guys, enough. I am definitely appreciative to Ansha for reaching out to me. I'm a firm believer that when opportunities come to you, I move like this in a sense. You can't approach me with an opportunity like weeks and months out, because
Mm.
sometimes I may get in my head trying to prepare for it and things like that. So I'm so thankful that it was not the last minute, but just a couple days.
Yeah.
So I really didn't have time to react to it. It feels natural. I don't know what's next, but I look at every opportunity that whenever you do something, it's not necessarily all for that moment right then and there. I always look at it as there's something else coming down the road. There's a reason why I'm here today on this podcast. So I just want to say thank you, and I definitely appreciate you guys for reaching out to me, for supporting me. I mean, I think it's been like 2 years, being a part of the group, and I know I haven't been as active as I was year one, but I do try to come back in and, listen to some people and just offer up a bit of, a bit of transparency, because we don't do that often. We always on social media, we tend to show the positive side. But we don't show those times when I really got to dig in and drive forward. And I just believe that part of our life, could necessarily help someone. So again, I just want to say thank you
Yeah.
guys, and man, who knows? I don't know. I'm excited. Like, this feels good. I'm looking forward to doing it again. You did an awesome job
Oh,
with the
bless your
questions
heart. Well, you're
and the
keeping it
feedback.
real. And
Yeah,
I love everything that you said today. And you told me, you were like, no, I think I've given everybody everything. Well, you just gave more, girl. Let me just say, you
right.
just gave us something to think about there. And also, I think being a member of this group,
Yeah.
I support you in that we can say we have the chance to find our voice, and
Yep.
you feel that by sharing your experience, by being genuine, by being real, like you are yourself, you can share with people, and people can then resonate, and it's also a way for us to practice speaking in front of that camera, because who doesn't
Yes.
at first fear that? And it's
Yes.
certainly a great place to overcome your fear, is to join Global Speakers Talk. And I'm blessed to be a part of it, as I know you feel also.
Yep.
So thank you, Linda. Unfortunately, that's our time today, but it has been wonderful chatting with you. And I look forward to doing it again. And I wish you all the best in everything
All
you're
right.
doing to help people. And let's just keep driving forward, girl.
There you go. All right. Thank you.
Okay. And to everybody who's listening, join us next week on Tuesday, where we'll be welcoming another speaker to Be Fearless. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.